Hello and welcome to the Open Book channel. My name is Oleander, your designated open book. In a recent video of mine, I addressed a comment I'd gotten of one of my videos, calling it a ripoff of Overly Sarcastic Productions video on the same topic. In that video, I agreed with the commenter, although it was entirely a coincidence that I titled the video the same, that I've grown into the same niche so our setups are going to look the same, and that the repetitiveness of the script itself occurred because the nature of academic essays is to be informative, which leaves little room for deviation on definition-based teachings. I too saw my video as a ripoff. It was not a wild accusation. It was a founded one, and I'm glad that the commenter called me out on it because that brought things to my attention even though I did not do this intentionally. Now, in that video though, I argue for the validity of content that exists to be informative, being so similar, and the possibility of creating near identical content when you're making content in the same niche, because that's exactly what happened to me. I made my own video on unreliable narrators, but it ended up being scarily identical to OSP's even though I in no way watched or copied their work. And I ended the video saying that it was scary to me that this can happen in a vacuum, and I was scared that it would happen again so long as I am in the same niche as other creators. And I didn't know what to do about it. In that video though, I did not address one point in the accusational comments, the quote-unquote rampant plagiarism of the last months. I believe that the commenter MS was referring to was the Plagiarism and YouTube video by Hbomberguy. I hadn't watched that at the time and I wanted to educate myself, so I did watch it, and now because some of the points in my previous video seem like they can be stretched and misinterpreted in relation to his very, very informative video essay on accounts of current and growing plagiarism practices, I want to add additional context. I know it's actually a bit of a meme that YouTubers instantly started panicking after the Hbomberguy video and needing to check themselves, but incidentally, again, because my life is made of incidents, I believe I got accused of plagiarism because of that video, and I responded to it before I knew the Hbomberguy video existed. So here we are, to straighten everything up, like anyone cares, except for me. Anyway, about the points I made prior to my Hbomberguy awakening. Specifically, I took my worry that the inherent samey-sameness of educational content, because objective facts should be presented as accurately as possible, and extended that worry to ask where that leaves other informative video structures as well, like journalism and T-channels. What I didn't realize was just how insane the current landscape of copied content and creation is. I wrote my own essay on unreliable narrators based on references that I found. Regardless of whether OSP used the same or near identical sources to the ones that I used, I believe our scripts are probably also just that. And I was fine with that unfortunate reality, but what I didn't know at the time was that there really are content thieves out there taking content and very lazily throwing in synonyms without changing anything else about what they've stolen. I'm not going to get my hands on their script and compare it to mine word for word, but I'm certain there is no way that it's that bad. I'm astounded how content mills like Illuminati got away with that kind of thing, and I wanted to make it clear that what they did, that is not the type of content similarity that I am advocating in my video, while defending my own unfortunate tangle with replicated looking content. Of course, it's a spectrum, but in the case studies that Hbomberguy uses, it's not just about blatant copy-pasting, it's also about the intent, the active act of plagiarism perpetrators to steal with the intent for profit. Where summarizing and paraphrasing other information is acceptable, entirely reading and displaying another content creator's work as your own is not. It is insane to me, in some of the examples that he gave of video game reviews, that the content thief didn't even cut out or rewrite the original creator's opinion. Word for word, they basically say the exact same thing, passed off as, "I believe blank." No, you don't. At least cut that part out. Christ. In the Plagiarism and YouTube video, I wasn't expecting to be presented with so many instances of reviewers stealing reviews just so they don't have to have their own opinion. When I was pondering over when being beholden to a video format or style could ever constitute copyright, I wasn't thinking people were playing documentaries and then reading the script of said documentary themselves over top and then calling it their own research. I said in my video that I didn't think it was fair that I should have to react to the allegation that I was plagiarizing another content creator so far as to take down my own video because I didn't, and it was a crappy coincidence. I can prove as much, at least insofar as my own ability to write, my writing style, and my sources. But now, I don't know. I just don't know. I was worrying over having to change the whole niche and identity I developed on my own just because someone else did it first. And yeah, that really freaking sucks because I am also passionate about these writing craft topics. It's why I'm here. But even if I'm not a blatant plagiarist, after watching Hbomberguy's video, the possibility of other people finding my channel and thinking that of me makes me feel icky. Not because I don't do my due diligence to summarize and paraphrase everything that I convey into my own words, but because, well, obviously I already look like a ripoff, and I'm going to be criticized for that going forward no matter what. It doesn't matter whether I'm fine with who I am and what I'm making. I've got too much anxiety to be comparable to those who don't. I don't have the mental bandwidth to deal with people calling me nothing but an OSP or a Duchess Celestia or whatever other video essayist out there copycat. And I've already decided that creating my writer's craft videos in a vacuum isn't a solution because that's what happened in the first place. So I'm screwed. I was going to put my foot down and persist because I want to be informative in some of my videos, but I don't know if it's worth it anymore. That information is out there somewhere already. Maybe someday it will make sense and I will have an audience that specifically wants me to teach them about tropes because they care about my opinion. But until then, maybe I do step away from that. Until I have the time to put into making informational content that can be indisputably recognized as original with extra editing and references and analogies, maybe I should just abandon it for now. It's not worth the potential backlash if I ever get a little basic or lazy with it like the last one, where I just explained the different types of unreliable narrators and kind of just left it at that, albeit with my own very biased references of places you can go read about them and whatever else I actually did that was just me, but probably won't be recognized. Which, again, I would like to stress, I don't ever plan on intentionally plagiarizing anyone, but we're in a current state or rise of skepticism for content creators. I don't have it in me to dispute wrongful accusations by wannabe internet sleuths that have seen the Plagiarism and YouTube video and now feel the need to go around calling anyone remotely similar out on being a copycat. And despite my minuscule existence on this platform, this fear is not unfounded because I've already been found and accused of such a thing. So it's not looking good for me if I wake up in the morning and decide, hey, I really want to talk about fantasy tropes this week. It's probably just a bad idea, regardless of how I even approach or write it. As stubborn as I was going to be about my right to produce content in good faith of providing useful information, I really, really don't want to bother with the possibilities of other creators' fans' wrongful criticisms of my intentions in doing so. As of filming this, I haven't decided if I'm going to take my video of unreliable narrators down just for ease of mind, or maybe even a couple more. If I do, I will make them available through my support pages because I don't want to penalize those very, very few people that do want to learn things from me. But going forward, I'm going to stick closer to opinion-based videos so I don't have to juggle the believability of references or intent. I want to provide value to my viewers, but there is other ways of doing so than making the more generic writing craft lessons, I guess. Again, maybe I will come back to that someday, but for now I am willing to admit what a ripoff of other channels I look like, so I should probably stay as far away from objective, overlappable content as I can. This reality is lame. It's stupid that I feel pressured into limiting myself when I don't even have 200 subs yet, but I've got a lot of anxiety, and I don't want to incite the internet gods to smite me down. So, of all things, I'm sorry that my content is about to get scarcer for a while. I'm going to be even pickier about the topics that I write on. There's plenty of other places to learn about tropes, so who cares if I ever talk about them again in my meager existence online anyway. Well, this got depressing by the end. All that to say, again, that I've never plagiarized another content creator, but I do get overly anxious and stunt myself worrying about the perceptions other people have of me regardless. So, I'll see you in the next video, eventually. Bye.